may have found the missing link in your theory of evaporation.
It's evolution, you buffoon. Anyway, what is it, Covington?
It's a fossilized chicken drumstick.
That is exactly like this.
That means that they had fried chicken 100 million years ago.
No, this chicken proves my theory of evolution.
Excellent.
We're back, Shaboom! And we're on our biggest adventure ever. Let's go! We're taking our bikes to 4 continents.
Where's Dave?
To find out how chicken has taken over the culinary world.
Absolutely superb. This is almost a religious experience.
And why it's about to become the planet's most popular meat.
We are going across France just to find the chicken.
We'll uncover the world's most fascinating and delicious chicken and egg dishes. Chicken! From the great British roast to exotic spices in Morocco. And the best ways of cooking them. We're exploring the history and cultural impact of the humble chicken.
It's the Holy Land.
And the egg dude. From the home of lip-smacking fast food to French cordon bleu. Paris! Oh, la, la. It's our most finger-licking chickeny adventure ever.
I don't know how you top this.
Our journey starts in chicken crazy Britain.
Do you know what? I'm dead egg-excited, Dave.
Me too, Kingy, and I can't wait to get cracking. We eat a jaw-dropping 1.3 billion chickens and over 12 billion eggs a year. And it's not just about food. We've turned chicken keeping into a national obsession. So what's behind this passion for all things poultry? And what are the tricks to making some of our favourite traditional British treats? The place to begin is at Si's house, where roast chicken is a Sunday tradition. It's also the day Si has his mates over for band practice.
And Sundays normally consists of all the lads getting round, having a crack, and eating chicken. Yes, because it's our roast of choice.
They say timing is everything in music, and I timed it, so the only drumsticks on shore are covered in gravy.
Right, fellas, we're off.
Leg or breast, boys?
Good both.
There's no more British way to eat a bird than to roast it, with all the trimmings.
Even with a simple roast Sunday chicken, there's variety. You know, some people like the legs, some like the breast, somebody like a couple of wings. I mean, the wings are popular now. In fact, they're breeding birds now with giant wings.
Was it?
Yes, because wings are in.
Yeah, it's funny how you can have, like, you know, if you were to have beef twice a day or say lamb or something, you would think, oh God, I'm having it again, I'm having beef again. But chicken, you wouldn't bat an eyelid, would you, if you had it for lunch and you had it for your tea?
That's very true, that actually lends itself to loads of different techniques, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, it's very versatile.
We're going to get such a lot of pleasure from that humble bird. But then we've got the sandwiches to come.
Chicken pie, dude.
Stir fries. Soup. Oh, chicken. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
You're not wrong.
So, what's the secret to cooking the perfect roast chicken? And how did we become a nation of chickaholics? Chicken is now Britain's favourite meat. 95% of us eat it. The truth is, it's tasty, easy to cook and affordable. But it hasn't always been on our tables. In fact, go back 200 years and we hardly ate chicken at all. The answer to all this lies in a tale of two queens.
Oh.
And this grand old house was built during the reign of one of them, Queen Victoria.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save the Queen. In days of old, with empire bold, Queen Victoria ruled the waves. Her favourite nosh, it wasn't posh, it was chicken that she craves. A bit like us, really.
We're here because the fire-belching behemoth behind us is a Victorian oven.
Look, it's a very old range, isn't it? And it's cracked, so the flames are coming out of where they shouldn't. But, dude, it'll be all right. Trust me, I'm an arsonist.
And why this cutting-edge technology? Well, firstly, because we want to share with you how to cook the ultimate roast. But also because it was during the reign of Queen Victoria that eating roast chicken first took off. Back in the days of Queen Victoria, people didn't really eat chicken at all. British birds were scrawny little things, not worth cooking. When she was a young chick herself, happy birthday, Queen Victoria was given some very exotic chickens.
Oh, we are abused. So keen on her fancy feathered friends was she that she kicked off a huge trend for keeping exotic poultry.
I hear it's all the rage.
Many of the new breeds were plumper and tastier than their scraggy predecessors.
Oh, you look delightful. Meanwhile, Victorian improvements to ovens and cookers meant people could roast meat at home for the first time.
I'm not going in there, I'm scared at dark.
And among the upper classes at least, chicken was finally on the menu.
Oh, how scrummy. And now, to honour that glorious history with a roast recipe fit for a queen.
I just want to tell you all, you can't just throw it in the oven like everybody else does, 95% of people do. They just take a chicken, take it out of the fridge, whack it in the oven with somebody else. Well, stop it. Because a chicken deserves respect. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do it properly. And if you don't do it, we're going to send the chicken police round and cut your legs off.
Right.
Okay?
The first thing, now this is the night before you're cooking it, you're going to salt it inside and out. So take handfuls of salt and rub it over like so. And inside.
So in the cavity.
It just makes the meat really, really plump and unctuous.
Well, it's juicy. It keeps its juiciness, doesn't it, in a weird way? Because it tightens up the grain of the meat to retain that texture and flavoursome content. It's flippin' lovely. So trust us, we're chicken doctors.
Wrap your salty bird in kitchen towel and whack it in the fridge overnight.
And when you get back to business the next day, patience is everything. Now what you want to do is you want to let this chicken come to room temperature. Chicken, steak, whatever, always bring it to room temperature before you cook it, because the meat from the fridge is like this. Hard to get a knife through it. Let it relax before you put it into the oven. But we'll use that time while this chicken is relaxing in its newly brined loveliness to make the stuffing.
The first thing we'll do is chop 5 sage leaves quite finely.
You can use dried sage for this, about half a teaspoon. In the bowl, I've got an onion that's been sweated down for about 5 to 10 minutes. So basically, the building blocks of stuffing, sage,
And onion. Beautiful sage, this fresh, lovely.
oh, and we like a bit of lemon in our stuffing.
You get that lovely zest and that little floral flavour, and it's just so nice.
That goes in. The breadcrumbs.
Egg, 1 in.
Give it a good old stir and season to taste. Now it's time to get stuffed. Now you want to leave a bit of an air gap between the stuffing and the top of the breastbone for the air to circulate.
Now, that's a top tip, that.
And this stuffing is going to go up near the breast meat and it's going to get up there, and the sage, the lemon, the pepper, it's going to work wonders. So we're almost ready to roast. But how do you cook the bird without it burning and sticking to the pan? Now, what I'd like to do is cut the wingtips off and use this as a trivet. It just raises the chicken slightly away from the tin, so that while the wingtips, which really there's nothing to eat, get burnt and stick, we will get flavour in your gravy. They'll stop the rest of the chicken from burning. Wingtips, chicken.
In most ovens, you'll need 40 minutes per kilo. But the trick is to weigh after you've stuffed your bird.
To make it juicy and golden, we're going to rub butter all over it.
And while Dave's doing that, a bit of lemon juice over the top.
But the thing is, we're not done yet.
Nope.
We want gravy with our chicken. So without adding some liquid to this, we're not going to get proper gravy.
So 100 ml of water and the same of white wine. You can use vermouth as well.
I like vermouth.
I do. It's nice, slightly herby as well, which is really nice.
So for perfect chicken, into the oven, 220 degrees Celsius for the first 15 minutes, then down to 180. Over to you. You seem to have control of the situation.
I'm not entirely sure I do. Let's have a look. That is what's known as cold.
But we're not going to let the small matter of a cold oven come between us and our roast chicken.
Have we got access to something else?
Of course, we have these big houses. It's all for sure, this lot down here. They'll have one upstairs. Good hunting.
Thank you. Good grief.
Passage of time.
Look at this, baby.
That's the most perfect roasted chicken.
Yep.
Now this can rest, I reckon, for half an hour. I'm just going to put this in a cosy corner, have a little break. Meanwhile, back to the gravy.
So, I'm going to take the cooking juices,
Remove as much fat as possible.
then mix a dessert spoon of plain flour into the crunchy, yummy, crispy bits.
So next step, in goes the wine. About a good big glassful. Put this on the heat and stir. As the wine bubbles away, any brown bits that Mr. King has managed not to scrape off will in fact go into the gravy.
Now look, the flour's cooking out, which is important. See how thick it's going. Dave, I think I'm ready, mate.
Right?
As it thickens, add your precious meat juices.
Stir stir, season well, and finally run it through a sieve. And that is the tastiest, purest, most beautiful gravy you could possibly want.
It's no surprise when you see how delicious that looks that chicken accounts for nearly half of all meat bought in Britain.
Gravy?
Ooh, not half.
Now, how do you like it?
Oh, all over.
All over.
No, I don't like territorial pools.
Tell me when.
When? Now, let's taste this chicken. You know, Si, to me, I think this is one of the most perfect dinners. The chicken is cooked perfectly. The stuffing, you've got that wonderful sage, the onions, and a bit of like lemon in it. Complements the chicken perfectly.
And you know what? Great meat produces great gravy. And that is so, so important.
Yeah.
So, take the time. Get a great chicken.
There's no questioning the greatness of that roast, Kingy. And I'll tell you what, it's whetted my appetite to learn more about the story of chicken in Britain.
Oh, me too, Mucker. Thing is, though, how far back should we go into this feathery fable?
You'll wish you'd never asked. Kingy, you know we were descended from the apes?
Yeah.
Well, I bet you can't guess who this little Chuck's great-great-great-great-great, you get the idea, granddad was.
The dodo.
Nah, not even close.
Ostrich.
No, Kingy, let me introduce to you Mr. T-Rex.
Get away with yourself.
Can you see the similarity?
That's extraordinary.
Exciting, eh? Our feathery friends descended from flesh-eating lizards. Who knew?
Well, it looks like we've got a lot to learn about all things poultry.
True, this journey's not just about eating chicken, but about the birds themselves.
Well, let's start with the kind of chicken most of us know best. The ones on the supermarket shelves.
These are breeds of chicken that put on weight quickly, making them ideal for eating.
But they're just the tip of the poultry iceberg, dude. There's an absolute plethora of chicken varieties out there.
And I know just the place to meet some of them.
Charlotte Carnegie is an award-winning chicken breeder.
We've got quite a good collection. I think we've got about sort of 25 different varieties and colours. Most breeds will come in several colours.
Charlotte's the perfect person to talk us through the chicken in all its shapes and sizes.
This one, it's got hair like you when you wash it, Kingy.
Oh, yeah, it has.
Yeah.
You won't find any of the birds here on your supermarket shelf. All Charlotte's chickens are egg-laying breeds, not food birds. So the different breeds have different personalities?
Yes, yeah, they've all, every single breed's got a different sort of trait and personality, and some are more friendly and some are better for eggs and all sorts.
What's the difference between these birds and the ones that we actually eat?
Well, these are obviously just made for eggs, really. They're not made to put on a lot of weight, because the ones that we eat are bred for optimal feed to weight conversion.
You know, it's a bit like beef, isn't it? You know, you have beef cattle for beef.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have dairy cows for milk.
Yeah.
And really, you don't really eat dairy cows. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. No.
I didn't realise it was like that with chicken.
Almost all of these birds are hens.
That's female to you and me.
These hens are youngsters called pullets. You can tell that from the small size of the red comb on their heads.
Can I try and pick one up?
Yeah.
Which one? You look nice. No, don't upset these ladies.
That was a shock for you, wasn't it? Sorry, sweetheart.
The comb on a hen is the cooling system, so they flush blood through that to cool themselves down, and the cockerel being bigger naturally needs
Has a bigger
comb.
Might be stupid, but do they all lay eggs?
They do all lay eggs. 2 or 3 chickens are quite easy to supply a small family with eggs for a week.
So you need 2 or 3 chickens and a cockerel, presumably.
You don't need a cockerel for a hen to lay eggs.
Eh?
Hey, I thought, you see, his eyes is amazing. I always thought you had to have a cockerel in order for all the thingy to happen.
No, the hen would produce an egg anyway, and if the cockerel is present, the egg will be fertilised before the shell goes on.
So, if hens lay eggs, whether or not a cockerel is around, what's the job of the fellas in a place like this? Or your coop at home?
Cockerel tends to be the policeman of the group, and he'll break up fights and keep them in order.
Ah, the pecking order. In every flock of chickens,
You looking at my bird?
a pecking order is established right from the word go. Hey, cock of the north!
The strongest, usually a cockerel, will end up first in line for everything.
The pick of the food.
Roosting spots.
Comes away. The most promising mate.
Oh, hello. And obeying the pecking order means there's no need to fight, meaning fewer injuries and less chance of alerting predators.
Shut up, quiet. So, even if you're bottom of the pile, you're better off in the end.
I told you. But let's face it, every cockerel wants to rule the roost. Take Mr. Red, for example.
Mr. Red!
He's coming.
Yeah.
I never thought he could do that.
No,
Not with food or anything. He's coming.
That's amazing.
I thought chickens were stupid.
No, he's quite clever.
He's massive.
Do you want to have a hand?
Yeah. You are more than just a nugget.
You are more than just a nugget, are you?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that face. Come on, we've got a snuggle. Kiss him. Kiss Mr. Ed.
Oh, I can smell your breath. It's quite pleasant. What a lovely bird.
Oh, get a room, you two.
What has blown my mind, and I think Dave's as well, is the plethora of breeds that are available, because what you associate in a plastic bag in a supermarket is absolutely not what's here. It's remarkable.
You know, there's one question about chicken and eggs we haven't answered yet, Kingy.
So Dave, you reckon the egg came first, do you?
I know the egg came first.
Well, how?
It's obvious, isn't it? You see, because birds descended from reptiles, a chicken's a bird. Reptiles laid eggs, and so obviously the egg came first, and in that egg was the first chicken. So technically speaking, rightly speaking, the egg came first.
Look, you need a chicken to lay an egg. It's got to be the chicken.
No, the lizard laid the egg, not the chicken, can't you see?
Yeah, well, no.
Egg.
Chicken.
Egg. Chicken, egg.
You can't.
There's nothing I love more, you know, than an intellectually robust debate.
Egg.
Chicken. Egg. Chicken.
Arguing with you is egg sourcing.
We're never going to see eye to eye on this one, are we?
No, more chance of seeing a chicken on the moon, dude.
But one thing we can agree on is wanting to know more about the story of chicken.
Yes. And the next question is, when did the chicken
And the egg.
first arrive on these shores?
Up until around the 6th century BC, way back in the Iron Age, there weren't any chickens as we know them in Britain.
Yeah, what's a chicken? But then some visitors brought exotic jungle fowl with them from Southeast Asia.
What the heck is that? It was as if aliens had landed.
We come in peace.
No one had seen such colourful, noisy birds.
Take me to your feeder.
But these creatures weren't seen as food. They were thought to be godlike. Oh, chicken, have mercy.
Great leaders were even buried with their chickens.
Roost in peace, mate.
So what I want to know next is, when did we stop putting chickens in the ground and start putting them in the oven?
Ah, well, the answer to that, me mucker, lies in my neck of the woods, Northumberland.
This is Vindolanda, one of the most important Roman archaeological sites in Britain. Vindolanda! No, it's not somewhere out of Harry Potter. It's just up the road from Kingy's house. So if you visit Vindolanda, and a visit is well worth it, you're welcome to pop in at any time at size. He lives at the old...
Shut up, you, will you? Honestly, I don't want Coach Lords coming and eating me chicken dinners.
We're here because Vindolanda is where the story of cooking and eating chicken in Britain started.
Archaeologists find new stuff here every day, and one of their most exciting discoveries was Britain's oldest shopping list. It's a wooden tablet with an order to buy 20 chickens and hundreds of eggs.
Wow, you'd think they'd had to feed a Roman army or something, wouldn't you?
What's so exciting is that this, together with some butchered chicken bones found nearby, is the earliest evidence of chicken being on the menu in Britain.
Now, eating chicken isn't the only thing the Romans introduced us to.
No, apparently they also brought leeks into our cuisine.
And I don't half love a leek, me, I do love it.
So while in Rome, or Roman Vindolanda, at least we're going to combine the two.
And cook one of our all-time favourite Northumbrian comfort foods, chicken and leek suet pudding.
Right, how are you? Let's get on.
Aye, ha. First off, you need to marinate your chicken.
You do. So now we've got a mixture of chicken thighs and chicken breast.
It's a good formula, that.
It is, because it's not, it's different textures, isn't it? Because the grains and the meat are different. So,
And I've got a lemon. Back in the day, it probably would have been an Amalfi lemon, brought by a passing slave all the way through France.
however, this one's from the Granger Market in Newcastle. Sage leaves. We're going to put some in. And this is all part of the marinade. Now, preferably, the longer you leave the marinade, obviously, the better it is.
To finish the marinade, we add that other thing the Romans taught us to cook with.
100 mils of white wine, or you can use vermouth.
Wine, chicken, olive oil he brought.
You did?
Heating, sanitation.
Baths. Give it a stir. And leave it for an hour. And while we're leaving it for an hour, you know what Dave's going to do, don't you? You know you've watched his work before. What are you going to do, Dave?
I'm going to make the suet crust.
He is.
Now, the great thing about a suet crust is it's a steam pudding. So whatever dried herbs you put into that suet crust are going to work. So in this, I'm going to use mustard and sage. Right, 225 grams of self-raising flour. Don't use plain. You're making a suet pudding full of fluff, not leather.
It's windy in Northumberland today.
100 grams of beef suet. Half a teaspoon of mustard powder.
Some salt.
And a teaspoonful of sage leaves. Just give it a bit of extra oomph a teaspoon of baking powder.
While Dave's rubbing in his what's-its, I'm just going to prepare the leeks.
It's like crumble mix now, it's what you want. Now about 125 ml of milk. And you want this kind of moist but not sticky, if you know what I mean. So you've got to be able to handle it. Warm this into a bowl. Take about a quarter of this off to make the lid. That's too much. No, it'll be all right. Could I pass a bit of flour? Just give me a sprinkling. That's do. See, look at that.
Lovely that, dude.
You can see all the herbs and speckles. Right, so the bowl, a pudding basin, classic. This has been well greased. And you ever wondered on telly how when you make a suet pudding it always comes out? Well, that's because we've got a little disc of greaseproof just there.
It's a top tip, that.
With the paper at the bottom, in goes the pastry.
You want to make this quite even as well. You don't want like your suet pudding to be heavier on one side than the other.
And why, Dave?
It won't cook evenly.
Our chicken's been marinated for about an hour. We had the leeks.
Which are essential in a chicken and leek suet pudding.
Oh, absolutely. Flour in there as well.
And the flour's just going to make it more saucy rather than dribbly.
Exactly. So a teaspoon of mustard powder.
Chicken's brilliant, just pack on the flavours. Oh, I love it.
I love that we've got the citrus notes in there as well. Perfect. Chicken, stock. It's the last thing that we pour in.
Oh, that's just the right amount. Now make the lid. So with the suet pastry that I kept, just roll it out into a disc. Now, on goes some greaseproof paper and a trussing of tin foil. The pudding ready for the pot.
I'll get the pan.
Thank you. Now we're going to cook our pudding on an open fire, much as the Romans would have done had they eaten chicken and leek puddings. So what you do is, you don't want your pudding, this is at home, right, in a cooker, because you don't want your pudding to sit on the base of the pan, it's going to burn. So you put a plate or a saucer, put a rag in so it doesn't rattle, on there, put your water in, pop in your pud. Now put that on the fire so it simmers, it steams, it's a steam pudding. Keep an eye on the water. As the water goes down, top it up. It needs to steam for 2 hours. Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Steamed puddings a la fresco.
Get in.
Succulent suet crust and juicy chicken filling, served with crispy potato croquettes.
I love it when you talk turkey. For a Geordie like me, this will go down in history every bit, as much as the Romans.
I tell you what, Dave, adding the flour to the mix has really thickened that sauce and gravy. This is really good.
Oh, the marinating, using the dried herbs and the mustard in the suet crust.
Yeah.
Everything's got a place in it. But above all, the chicken is still there holding its own. And I think using the mixture of breast and thigh, it just keeps it really juicy.
It definitely does. Quick, easy to make at home. Jobs are good.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what, if the Romans had have had this, they'd never have gone home.
No.
But look what they did. They slinked back off to Italy.
And once they left, eating chicken in Britain fell out of fashion once again.
But while we may have stopped eating the birds, we never stopped loving them.
True. Today, 750,000 people in Britain keep poultry.
There's a whole culture out there around chicken keeping and chicken fancying.
So we're heading to West Wales to meet some people who've dedicated their lives to rearing beautiful birds.
And one man in particular, a local legend, the pride of the valleys, the one and only Tom Hughes, the Prince of Poultry. Tom's been knocking audiences dead for decades with his scintillating show chickens.
2 generations of Tom's family, including his daughter Carmen and grandson Tom Jr., are part of a chicken-keeping dynasty. Are these what you call fancy chickens?
Yeah, these are the showbirds.
Right. You see, that's what Dave and I are at heart on. We're doing
Well, showbirds, yes. You know, they come at the Lido in Paris. These are can-can chickens.
These are can-can chickens.
Tomorrow, Tom's fancies strut their stuff in the Aberystwyth and Ceredigion County Show.
So there's a lot of competition, Tom.
Oh, yes. I know in Aberystwyth show now tomorrow they'll be up from South Wales. And there'll be a few down from North Wales, I'm sure, and there 1 or 2 from Shrewsbury that way.
Are you confident you're going to win?
No, but I'm going to try.
It's not about the winning.
Of course it is.
It's about trying.
But how do you keep them in such good condition? Because surely chickens are messy by nature.
This is the part I play in the home.
I see. So you are the chicken wrangler that washes and blow
Blow-dries, yes.
Look, really, I was just saying that as a joke. You don't really blow dry a chicken.
I do blow-dry a chicken.
They do.
I do.
Well, there's a big show tomorrow to do, and one of us needs to help Carwyn pimp her poultry.
Being a man of fine brewing, I guess that's me then.
Right. He's not happy, dude. He's not.
Oh, we don't have to wash his tail, look, because it's got all dirty.
Right.
You sure the spirit
Are
will
you
get
sure?
you?
Yes.
Yes. What do I do now, Carwyn?
In the nice warm water there.
Coconut shampoo.
Oh, you're not supposed to give away my secret.
Oh, the last time I put chicken and coconut together was in a curry.
In he
Yeah, you have
goes.
to hold him in.
All right.
Don't let him go now.
Just relaxed.
Yes. Oh, you've got a good touch. Excellent job. There we are. His tail was the worst, right?
And leg.
What do you mean his legs?
Do you know what? I wouldn't mind having your help before every show. You're excellent.
Thank you very much.
Don't give in then, Dave.
Like all of it.
Yeah, not all of it. Oh, crikey.
All of it.
He's drowning the poor sort of thing. Look at him, he's opening his mouth and going, oh, love me, love me.
I think I've drowned him.
Are we happy with that, Dave?
I
Let's
think he's
have a look
Bobby
at him.
Dazzler. Oh,
So, Look
baby.
at him.
He's comfy now. Oh, yeah.
He's
Let's get his comb sort of dry.
So, Tom, what are you making of Dave's approach to hair?
Not bad, not bad.
Thank you.
We've never seen him so quiet.
Oh. So, where you going on your holiday this year? They went there with your boyfriend. It was great. Look at that, he's fluffing up a tree.
He is.
I don't think you could get any cleaner.
So there we go, back in.
What's he called?
White cock.
White Cock. You are a winner.
Should we give him a name today?
Yeah.
Aye.
Let's name him. Dave. Oh, he wants to call him Dave. That's it. Dave.
Carwyn?
Yes?
That's the nicest thing anybody's done to me. Come on, Dave!
Yeah, right.
Go for gold. Number one.
Hey, man, he's happy as Larry, isn't he? He's cock of the walk, Dave. Oh, the familiarities are uncanny.
It's the morning of the big show, and if our chicken's going to look real good, I'm going to look good too.
What are you doing?
Well, getting ready, Kingy. What are you doing?
This is important research, this dude, because apparently chickens make 24 different calls that each mean a different thing.
Well, like a language.
Well, yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? Listen to this, listen to this. This is a ground alarm, which fundamentally means someone's coming to get us.
There's a fox in the coop.
That's it, type of thing. You know, like,
Why?
this is fundamentally, hello, good morning, how are you all? It's like,
So let's get this straight. You're learning to speak chicken.
yes.
Do you know I'm getting worried about you? After hours of primping and preening, and that's just me, it's the moment of reckoning.
It's like a pageant for poultry here, with categories for every kind of bird.
But the event that counts is the White Leghorn section, where our Dave is competing.
And the man Dave has to impress is Judge Hugh Evans.
What are you looking for?
Right, well at the minute I'm judging these first, and these would have been originally used for fighting.
Right, okay.
So we're looking for something with a good strong beak to it,
Yeah,
bold eye, looks fearless.
Yes,
You feel his breast,
muscle, yeah.
muscle there. All these birds have a standard,
Yes.
a breed standard that they have to sort of conform to.
Now, we're not ones for match fixing, but when it comes to our Dave, there's nothing wrong with some gentle persuasion. That, to me, Hugh, is like my perfect image of a cockerel.
Yeah, that's a white leghorn.
Yeah.
and what do you think of him?
He looks perfect in every fold.
It looks in really good condition. Let me get him out and have a look at
Oh,
him.
yeah, I think so.
Feel the weight on that. Not a lot of weight about it.
No, but perfect. Perfect, yes. Beautifully clean.
Beautifully clean. Look at his comb and stuff.
That's the standard point. His comb's got to be up there.
You practically see the blood coursing through that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Healthy bird.
Keen eye.
Yeah, keen eye, Dave, yeah. Good swagger. Sets himself nicely.
Yep. The only drawback is this feather's gone a little bit creamy.
So do you think it could be a contender
I
then?
think he's in the running for a first prize at least.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Come on, Dave. Knock 'em dead.
We've got a couple of hours before the results are out.
Enough for some mind games with the opposition.
No, there's no need to be rude. I'm just saying hello. No, I can't. I am not getting you a hen. That's wrong. Behave yourself, will you?
Enough chit-chat, Kingy. Tom and Thomas are here to see if our Dave's the winner.
The moment of truth is imminent.
Will today be the day he triumphs and reigns supreme?
The white one is very exciting.
I'm so tense I could lay an egg.
The white one, you want?
Scared to look.
Yes! Get in!
It's number one!
Well, look at that, Velda. Are you chuffed?
You're very chuffed.
Congratulations.
Good.
Congratulations.
That is great news, Dave. Hey, see? Dave.
You've done a hell of a good job last night.
Thank you, he's still breathing.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah, that worked.
Dave, top cock.
You know what, Mugger? It's not every day your namesake wins a top prize.
Too right. We need to celebrate with a cook-up.
I couldn't cook chicken here, man. Would get lynched.
Don't worry, chicken isn't the only poultry product on shore.
Yeah, Hugh will be able to help us find the freshest eggs Wales has to offer.
From the appearance of the egg, you can kind of tell the flavour, or not?
I think it's down to personal preference.
Right.
You know, I like brown eggs. Some people like white eggs. I don't think there's any difference.
People tend to think that eggs have an indefinite lifespan, and they haven't. And people often ask us the tips for poaching eggs. Tip number one is use a fresh egg.
Is it true to say as well, Hugh? My mum used to, before she used to get the eggs, when she started buying them, used to put them in water, and if they sit horizontal, they're fresh. If they do that, they're not. Or that. Is that true?
Yeah.
Perfect.
You can also tell the freshness of an egg from the way the yolk sits on the white.
If you look at the quality of the yolk on that, the way it rises up,
yes.
it's held up by the white. There's not a lot of sort of liquid rushing around on it. Good solid white.
That's indicative of a very fresh egg.
Perfect.
Right, let's get ourselves the freshest half dozen we can find and rustle up a couple of Welsh classics.
Who likes Welsh lamb? We're not cooking it.
No, we're not.
Oh, we're cooking Welsh rarebit.
Oh, we're cooking Welsh cakes.
But with a twist.
Ah.
Both these recipes show how eggs are at the heart of so much of our cooking.
And we're kicking off with Welsh cakes. Delicious doses of local sweetness.
First start off with 250 grams of self-raising flour, which I've measured earlier. To that, 50 grams of caster sugar and a pinch of salt. And to that, I'm going to rub in the butter. And just let this fall through your fingers till it resembles fine breadcrumbs. Look at that. I think we're there, Kingy, do you? Now for the twist. Usually, Welsh cakes use raisins, but I'm going to use sour cherries with an extra special kick. So pop those cherries into a pan and dredge in Welsh whiskey. And bring it to the boil.
What's it like?
Ooh.
Ooh. Hurry up, I've got to put it back on the set. Go on, have a quick one. Lovely. Flippin' heck, you're greedy, ain't you?
Back to the cherries. Much like our audience, they've had time to soak up the whiskey. Beautiful. And we need the zest of an orange, about a teaspoonful.
Nice.
Lastly, we add the egg. Now, if it's a bit dry, I can loosen it up with my whiskey mixture. And as we work it a bit, not too much, a bit of flour, and we roll this out and just start to pop them out. And really, they take a few minutes on each side.
And now for the rarebit, a 300-year-old local dish made from eggs and cheese.
We're going to melt some butter. Then we'll put a teaspoon of flour, and then we'll put a mustard powder in as well, and then we'll whisk it in.
Keep whisking over a low heat. What's vital is to cook all the flour out.
Because if you don't do that, the gluten in the flour doesn't break down, so then it tastes a bit floury. Right, now at this point, we'll add the beer.
Beer. Where's the beer?
I've forgotten it.
How are we going to make Welsh rarebit with Welsh beer without beer?
Well, if we hadn't drank it last night, it would have been all right, wouldn't it? But I forgot to get some this morning. I'll be long.
We were in a field.
Never mind, it just isn't. Small miracles take a little longer. Where's the beer?
It's been gone for ages. The thing is, cycling and beer tents can be a fatal combination. Could Simon King please return to the cookery area as his cheese is going moldy? Thank you.
Excuse me. Very nice to hello.
So many of those have you had? Not to sound like your mother or anything.
Oh yeah, but I had to drink a bit, because like I would have spilled it on the quad, wouldn't I?
Look at him. Can you see that twinkle? Look at the giggle. Look at that. He's all like...
Well, you get a nice warm glow from Welsh beer, you know.
Yeah, I got a nice warm glow off my griddle. All right, there's only one thing that needs warming up right now, and that's my rarebit mixture.
You've got to hit the heat back up the temperature, which will clearly take a bit. And then you want about 150 mils of good Welsh beer. Right, now put this lovely local cheese in, like that. And then we'll put a bit of Worcestershire sauce, about a teaspoon.
Ooh.
Some white pepper.
It's the eggs that really ramp up the rare bit. 3 fresh golden yolks.
First of all, it deepens the flavour, it makes it lovely and rich, and great colour as well, but also it sets nice on your toast. And fundamentally, that's ready, but we're going to do a little hairy baker's twist, you see. We're going to put some raw onion in it, because it gives it a lovely textural crunch.
Real cheese and onion, what's not to like?
Slice of toast, take a dessert spoon, flop it in the middle, spread it nearly to the edges, but not quite. We'll stick that under there for a bit.
Quick and easy, nice and cheesy. Bursting with flavour, you can't beat these Welsh recipes for flipping good finger food. Cheers. Here's to Wales.
Without eggs, these and gazillions of other recipes just wouldn't be possible.
True, eggs have been keeping us cooking for thousands of years.
We eat an astonishing 33 million eggs in Britain a day.
That's enough to make an omelette the size of Carlisle.
Do you know what, mate? I love an egg. And you know, the king of eggs has got to be the Scotch egg, hasn't it, really?
That peppery sausage meat and breadcrumb coating. Oh, man, you can't beat it. And we all know, dude, which part of Britain you need to head to when you want the finest in Scotch egg.
Yes, Manchester!
Bang on, dude, bang on. There's a chef here taking the Scotch egg into new dimensions of delicacy.
Welcome to the home of the Manchester egg. Meet Chef Robert Owen Brown.
Robert is a one-man northern powerhouse of food, a champion of regional ingredients, and one of the inventors of the legendary Manchester egg.
Which is remarkably similar to a recipe that we've been developing. We call it the hairy egg.
It's older.
Oh, no, I made this when I was knee-high to a yolk.
Right.
But as with all the best relationships, our eggs have more in common than that which divides them.
In this case, a pickled egg. Genius! Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to make our respective eggs.
We are.
And just have a look and see which one's best.
No
How
chance.
many of these have you made?
Probably about 28,000 over the past 2 years.
Really? We've only done 4, but it was all right.
It'll be all right.
Aye.
We've got it snapped, yeah, never mind.
The egg off. Manchester egg. Pickled eggs. How many are we making? Two.
Two each.
Those can go in there for a minute. Good quality sausage meat. Very black pudding. Yeah? That's 60-40 mix.
Ah, so that's the killer twist in the Manchester egg, dude. Adding in the extra meaty hit of black pudding.
So, Patty, that's it. Egg in.
Nice.
Job's done, isn't it?
Well
Try and
formed.
get it nice and round.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you do. Yeah. Why do you think there was a need for this particular egg in Manchester?
I think this is the perfect accompaniment to a pint of beer. Yeah, because you've got that unctuous sort of warm vinegary smell when you bite into it that comes up and cleans your nostrils out. So we're going to have some smoked paprika as well, panko breadcrumb.
Yeah, I know.
A bit of that in there.
They are beautifully formed, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Like a pair of gorilla's eyeballs.
Right, lads, come on, do your worst.
Take a couple of pickled eggs. Now, our trick is we roll them in celery salt.
We do.
Because you can't have eggs without salt and indeed pepper.
Right.
Now, what we've done is bought a really good quality Cumberland sausage.
Right. So, another patty.
Patty, it's Patty, but Geordie.
Right, okay, I'm with you.
You got me there?
Yeah,
Good one.
Yeah.
And then, in case, said egg in this Cumberland sausage.
Trying to get them round, yeah.
That's Geordie round, that's proper.
Right, that's why the Geordies play rugby.
Show your face.
Our secret weapon, of course, is bringing an element of cordon bleu to our coating. Cheese and onion crisps.
See that bath of flavour?
Yeah.
It's the colour of sunshine. Well,
Hold on, I
you
better
see
get
that in
hold on,
Manchester, do you?
yeah.
10 minutes in the fryer, and cue the moment of truth.
So you join us now at the Bangers and Bacon, Spinningfields, Manchester, at the Egg Off. And of course, the totally impartial judging panel is formed of 2 of the chefs that work here.
This is the hairy egg.
You can hear that crisp, can't you? Oh.
What are you thinking, fellas?
Just nice and crispy.
Completely important. Yeah, it is. It's the good flavour from the cheese and onion. I think I kind of like that. You know,
Salt and vinegar has probably been better, to be honest.
sausage meat though could do with a bit of improvement. I think.
What do you think, Rob?
I think it's brilliant. I didn't want to say that. Let's try the Manchester egg now.
You know what? It's the black pudding. I mean, the biggest difference is that the black pudding, the meatiness that comes from that.
To be fair, I think if you put that crumb, and granted maybe salt and vinegar,
Yeah.
with this egg,
Yeah. Put the 2 together.
Yeah. Could be onto something.
hairy Manchester egg.
Hairy Manchester egg.
Be on the menu next week.
Well, that's decided.
But I think there's a bigger question to answer here. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
I think it's got to be the chicken, hasn't it?
I'm going to go for the egg, obviously.
Yes, you see, it is the egg. It's got to be egg. Because in evolution...
Isn't there something about science that says you can only get a chicken from an egg?
Exactly. It only comes from the egg and the chicken. So it's got to be the chicken. And
I've got a feeling this argument will run and run.
What we can agree on is the Manchester egg is a working man's classic.
Aye, Kingy, that's the thing about poultry products. There's something for every walk of life.
Which is why, Dave, we're heading to the swanky side of the Big Smoke in search of the more exclusive end of chicken dishes.
Do you know, I love the chicken and the egg. You can have something as simple as a boiled egg for your breakfast, or something like a humble grilled chicken breast for your tea.
But those simple ingredients can be raised to the heights of gastronomy, though, dude.
Yeah, but where would we go to find a proper posh bird?
Well, Belgravia, dude.
Oh, well, polish with tiara.
this is the Goring Hotel Belgravia.
And it's where diners, who are the very highest in the human pecking order, come to eat their chicken. Like me, first, I'm first, get off. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. Thank you.
This place was rumoured to be the Queen Mother's favourite hotel.
Executive chef Shay Cooper came here 2 years ago and has earned the restaurant its first Michelin star.
So who better to show us how the humble chicken can be the stuff of high-class fantasy?
In the shape of his spectacular chicken soup, topped with a sumptuous slow-cooked egg.
It's a homage to the chicken.
Aye.
So, Shay, I know it's a really, really busy kitchen, but have you got time to show us how to do this? The masterclass from the man himself, that would be brilliant.
Follow me. Great,
Fantastic.
So what's actually in the soup? What have we got?
Okay, so what we have here is the back of the chicken, the thighs, drumsticks and winglets.
You're wasting nothing from the chicken, are you? When my mother used to waste nothing. So from my mum to Michelin star, you waste out.
So we get the pan nice and hot.
So there's no oil in there or nothing. You
No.
use the chicken fat.
Yeah, really give it a little bit of love. Make sure each chicken pieces gets its caramelisation, and that's what's going to give it the flavour. That's really going to sort of like start the soup off well. Sure. The chicken itself is called the Cotswold White. They're well looked after, mature for about 63 days.
Yeah. Really?
You know, he let me go a little bit further.
That's going to taste amazing.
The age of a chicken makes a huge difference to the taste. A bog-standard supermarket bird lives for about 42 days.
A nice posh free-range chicken will live for at least 56 days.
I think we've got good colour on that. You can see we've got nice golden brown. We're going to add our vegetables, sweat them off with the chicken.
Again, it's quite robust as well. It's none of your fancy kind of tiny mirepoix, is it?
No, need not be.
You know, I wish you could smell this at home.
Yeah. Once the soup has simmered, Shay thickens it with a flour and butter roux. Sieves to extract the most glorious reduction. Before finishing with sour cream, sherry and lemon.
The anticipation's killing me. Tell you what,
What?
you know, your tash kind of suits this surrounding.
Precisely, that's what I thought. Shay's prepared a sensational smorgasbord of chicken and egg creations.
But the soup's the star of the show. Liquid gold, served with that comfy egg yolk and shimmegy and cheval mushrooms.
Look at this, Kingy. It's the humble farmyard scratcher converted into art.
Oh, it's absolutely superb,
If
isn't
it tastes half as good as it looks, we're in for such a treat. But this being a Michelin-starred restaurant with Michelin-starred prices, we're sharing. After you.
it? Thank you. Should I burst?
Oh,
Oh, no.
oh, it's lovely.
it's so cooked, Dave. Oh,
I think I'll just take the big half.
okay.
Look at that slow cooked with jelly.
Oh, wow.
I'm in ecstasy. It's just unbelievable. And that egg has been emulsified. It's a different character to any other egg I've ever tasted.
It is excellent, that.
The flavour in that reduction in the soup itself is unreal.
It is superb.
It all started with the way that he was browning the chicken.
Yeah.
It was browned, but it wasn't burnt.
No.
And she was so careful to get every bit of flavour.
Well, mate, it's safe to say we've all had chicken soup sat in front of the telly, but this is something else, isn't it?
Do you think one would mind if one licked the bowl?
No, you're not with your tash. It's wrong. Right. That is amazing.
Isn't it?
The only trouble with sharing these petite posh portions is that I'm still flipping starving.
Let us find ourselves a more down-to-earth calf and see what chicken they've got on the menu.
Here, dude, I've got one for you.
What?
What do you call a chicken with a lettuce in its eye?
I don't know, Si. What do you call a chicken with lettuce in its eye?
Chicken? Caesar salad? Oh, this is going to go on forever, this. I'm starving.
Well, we've come to the right place.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, my favourite coronation chicken.
Well, how should we have it? In a sandwich. On a tater.
Could we have a coronation chicken, please? In a sandwich and on a baked potato. Good old coronation chicken brings us to the final chapter of how Britain became a nation of chicken lovers.
And back to the part our Queen Elizabeth had to play in it all. It's a great dish, isn't it? I mean, it's got an evolution that's nearly 70 years.
Oh. This dish was created especially for the official banquet of Queen Elizabeth's coronation by chefs from the London Cordon Bleu Cookery School.
The sweet and creamy curry sauce is brimming with influences from all over the former British Empire. In 1953, the map of the world, most of it was pink. It was British territories. And really, Queen Elizabeth II, she's crowned the queen of an empire. And I think it's got all those influences from India, from away. A bit of Moorish, it's sweet, savoury. It's really clever cooking. And it is a dish that's stood the test of time.
One thing has never changed. It's never fallen out of fashion.
It just goes to show there's a chicken for everybody.
Yeah, that's very true.
After Queen Elizabeth's coronation, Britain's chicken farmers adopted American ways of large-scale chicken production.
The idea was that Britain should become self-sufficient in food production. And in the 1960s, chicken became cheaper and more widely available.
Home kitchen technology also came on in leaps and bounds. Cheaper freezers and ovens hit the market. By the end of the decade, over 250 million birds were being eaten each year.
Today, and get this, Dave, we eat 1.3 billion chickens a year.
So in the time between Elizabeth's coronation and now, Britain has gone chicken crazy.
And you know what? There's only one way to celebrate that. An invite to the Queen's birthday party.
Yes, we get to go to Buckingham Palace.
What? No, mate, we don't, man. We've got beards. We ride motorcycles. We're from the north. Are you daft? We're going to a street party in Southport.
Oh, well, I suppose that's more like it. The perfect place to celebrate how chickens become the country's favourite meat. From the loftiest royal to the lowest commoner. That's you and me, Si.
And our contribution to the festivities?
Chicken sandwiches! Who wants one of our hairy bite sardies? Chicken! Chicken and stuffing.
Flippin' Nora, it looks like they could do with something to eat. They've definitely had enough to drink, that's for sure. I think there's been a few champagnes in honour of the Queen, you know. This has to be the perfect picture of what chicken has become in this country.
What was once a luxury enjoyed by royals is now the nation's most eaten meat.
It's about a celebration of British culture because all the families are here and it's grilled.
Hey everybody, I'd like to propose a toast. Happy birthday, Your Majesty, and here's to another 90 years. Happy birthday! Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
God save our chicken. That's what I say.
The thing is, Si, we've only just scratched the surface of planet poultry. What?
There's got to be more out there.
There's a whole world out there of chicken and eggs, and we're going to get on our bikes and we're going to find it.
Next time, we're in France.
It's nice, huh? Where they pay up to €40 for a single bird.
We'll grasp the humble traditions which launched chicken to gastronomic heights.
That's the skill of this cuisine.
We'll learn the secrets of France's greatest chefs.
That's the way I'm cooking my chicken from now on.
And dine
Paris, here we come!
at our first ever triple Michelin-starred restaurant.
I don't know how you top this.